Music on, let's rock and roll. It's the Al Travis Show, and every now and again we're lucky enough to get him on. He's Todd Bergeth. He is, of course, Todd and Friends, Todd and Souhan. And now Todd and Al. Todd, thanks for being here.
Yeah, very good, Al. Thanks for calling.
No, it's absolutely our pleasure. Let's talk a little bit about the leftovers on I was going to say Super Bowl, the Olympics.
Right.
When these guys in the NHL do what they do and did what they did and became these brothers in arms, how long does that last when they get back on the ice against each other?
I was wondering the same thing. So when they had Jack Hughes come out and be recognized for his first game back in New Jersey, he brought out his Buffalo Sabre USA teammate. And did you see the gigantic difference in size between the two guys? It's like his little brother, Jack Hughes. He puts his arm over his shoulder like he's a 12-year-old. And so that shows that you don't have to be big to be really good in the NHL. Clearly, Jack Hughes is that. And some guys are pretty doggone monstrous. Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Are they hitting each other as hard in the corner? Are they still using the butt end of their stick in the ribs just to give them the business? I don't know. That would be an interesting question. But they're super competitive guys. They want their own teams to win. If they did take it a little easy on them, I would think it would be on the stick across the hands more than letting them make a play or something like that. But yeah, that's interesting. And you go right back into it. You were just huge teammates and won a gold medal, did something that's epic, and now you're playing against each other the very first night. That would be different for sure.
And it's a little different for those, forechecking and doing all that stuff. The goalies, you can be happy for the goalie until you got to try to put one past them, right? The goalies get celebrated, but it's like, congratulations, you did great for America, but now what?
Yeah, that's right. And as soon as they take the net, I don't know what Hellebuck did, but let's say he went out and had a terrible game and had 5 goals scored against him and got pulled in the second period because he shot from his Olympic experience. That wasn't a break for those guys. They talk about the Olympic break, and those guys were practicing and playing in highly emotional, intense, and physical games. So, and what would you, as a fan, say? Thanks for the gold medal, but I'd rather win a game here, I don't know.
Well, how far does that go for all of them? Instead of them getting the 2 weeks off, like everyone they play against who got 2 weeks to sit home, heal up or do whatever, they've been playing very intense hockey. At some point, does that wear you out by the time you get to the finals or, even the playoffs?
Well, we'll see. They didn't get a real break. So, I don't know. We'll find out. People will track that. The Olympic players who, especially for Canada and the U.S., since they played the most games, making it all the way to the gold medal game. Although they do play for the bronze medal, so there were 2 other teams that also played that. But yeah, I will watch with curiosity, even more so now that you kind of pointed it out. I hadn't really considered it that closely, but there is going to be a difference in rest. And then not only did they play all these games, but then they partied for like 3 days at the end of it, So the eyes were bleary when they showed up for practice, for sure.
Oh, yeah, and again, they're young and that sort of thing, but you even look at the 82 games, hockey games, and then you throw on they must have had another 8 or 10, right? Plus the practice.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of flipping hockey. All right, let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about your Wolves. They end up beating the Nuggets, and it's just kind of what we expect, right? Minnesota comes up against the Nuggets. They're tied basically in the division. You knew the good Minnesota was going to show up, and they did. I think 7 guys had double. It was a great ball game for Minnesota.
It was, and they played the type of game that Al Travis likes.
Yes.
They played defense.
Yep.
They locked it down. They got stops. Edwards had 21. I think maybe somebody else had 23, maybe not. Reed or somebody off the bench. The bench played great. But it was the defense that won that game. They only put 110 on the board, which by modern standards is below their seasonal average.
Yep.
And we're still able to win that. And they played against who I think is maybe still the best player in the world in Nikola Jokic. How do you defend the guy? It was funny. They asked Finch after the game, after Jokic put up 35 and 12 boards and 5 assists, and yet they beat him. And Finch says, I don't know. How do you defend that guy? He said, you tell me a defense that's going to work against him. He said, you just have to defend the other guys as best you can, because no matter what you do, you can't speed Jokic up. He's going to play at his pace. He's going to dictate the pace. You just have to pay attention to everybody else. Now, it helped that Aaron Gordon didn't play for the Nuggets. That was nice. But he's not the type of guy he would say, okay, they won by 7, Nuggets win instead. I don't think he makes a 8 to 10 point difference necessarily over the guy they bring it in.
It was probably Murray. Murray was so hot and cold there, right? I mean, at times, in his next game, he went off for 45. Murray, to me, was kind of the difference there. But on our side, and again, I don't think this is just me, our starting 5 in the first quarter, we went down quick. It was like, oh, man, they're not going to show up. But then Coach put in Nas, Io. Is that how you pronounce it? Io?
Yep, Io.
Io. And then put in Bones Highland. And they put those 3 in, and that team just started erasing that. In the second quarter, they just blew that out of the water until we had the lead. Well, they said it on the air, so it's not really me. That Gobert could not in any way play defense against Jokic. So if you're going to double him anyway, put 2 young guns who can speed up the game. It did, and it really worked for us. I liked that second string.
Yeah, I did too. They played well. You sound like the same guy who was bemoaning depth of the team not that long ago, though, Al. Well, I seem to recall.
I am.
But it's gotten better.
Yes.
And it's gotten better because they traded for Io, and they started giving Bones Mike Conley's minutes. The bench has gotten better because our dear friend Mike Conley, Minnesota Mike, is now where he should be, which is an additional coach who's also a player and helps out in practice. He's not someone who should be in the rotation at all. And after they brought Io in and saw what Bones had, then they realized that, we can now trade Mike. He got traded again. That had made it eligible to pick him up, but he's a good spot wearing a Timberwolves sweats down at the end of the bench. Nothing against him. He's had a terrific career, but 38 and 6'1" doesn't go like 42 and 6'8" and 260 like LeBron. It just isn't the same thing.
No, it's not. And we've got to go to the break, and I'm going to let you know now, if you're going to hold what I say against me, I'm going to be less likely to say what I'm feeling because my emotions change, buddy. I'm a sensitive man. We'll go to break. We'll go to break. We'll come back. We'll talk more with our guy, Mr. Bergeth, and we'll talk with Todd with much more right after this. It's the Al Travis Show. We've got Todd Bergeth on with us. Todd, I make fun because you're absolutely right. Depth, to me, is an issue. We don't go far enough. He got those 3 guys in. That was it. He stopped there.
Yep.
You already mentioned Mike Conley, which is I really like they brought him back because you get him for nothing, right? He got paid off, so we're getting him for nothing. He settles down, and I think after the last game, I think you and I talked about that, he went after the coach a little bit. He wasn't supposed to take a shot. He did. He got it, and kind of showed his coach up. I think Conley will stop that kind of crap from going on. He didn't do any of that in the next game. But let me ask you this. We're looking at getting Slow-Mo back. You kidding me?
He could sit on the bench with the rest of them.
Exactly.
He's available for a reason. He's slow. So the Slow-Mo moniker fit. No. But he's a great teammate. He's a terrific guy. He'll be great in practice. He understands the system. I don't see him big in the rotation. 8 is what you're going to play when you're trying to win the game outright. It's not time for development. Okay. I wish he would have played, our young guys. I would especially like to see Barrage get more time. But Clark and Shannon, the time to play them is a couple of months ago. The time for development of those young guys isn't now. And we know what Finch's weakness is. I mean, I think we know. Yep. He doesn't like to develop young guys. He likes to play as veterans and get them to a point where they can win on a nightly basis, which is what we all want as fans, too. So I'm good with the 8-man rotation. They're 8 deep. Some other teams are not that deep because they have 8 effective guys. Now, Bones was a bit of a journeyman, so we could be falling in love. It could be a little fool's gold once we get to the postseason, and Io doesn't have much experience in the postseason either. So we'll see when we get there, but I like it so far.
If you bring in Slow-Mo, and again, I find him fascinating. In being as slow as he is, he did score well. Right, he'd stop, he'd do that little weird thing, like you thought you put the TV on pause, and then he'd shoot, and it'd go in the hole. He can score, but he's not going to get any rotation time. Who do you, just for the sake that he's a good Minnesota guy, who do you blow out of the lineup? I mean, who do you get rid of? Joe Ingles got to go? Well, I don't know why he's on the bench anyway, but we've got him, nice old guy. Does he got to go to make room? Phillips?
Another teammate guy. Yeah, I'm not sure how their roster situation is. The NBA rosters are kind of fluctuate. You don't have to have, I think it's 13 guys they have on their active, and it's 15 overall. So they could have two guys sitting there in street clothes on any given night. Okay. So I'm not sure somebody has to leave. I don't know what their roster situation is right now. We'll see if that happens. I don't know who it would be, somebody who isn't having any kind of an impact. But I don't know that they have to do that necessarily.
Okay, well, that's where I was going with that, because, I mean, Shannon and Clark, you're hoping to develop them, right?
You're keeping them. Yep.
And this Behringer, he is the next Rudy Gobert. You're not getting rid of that guy, right? He has to stay. Conley you just brought back. He's not going anywhere. So it's Joe Ingles or Phillips.
Or it could be a young guy who goes to the G League. You know, one of the young guys that they have could go to the G League. Whoever it is, if it's a veteran, they have to cut him. But they could send a young guy down, I think. Okay. Again, the NBA rosters specifics sometimes get by me a little bit.
All right. Fair enough. Last thing is just that Chauncey Billups makes it into the news again today. They started that trial with him, gambling.
And the gambling, poker games and all that. Yep.
This is probably really sad of me to even say. I guess I could care less if he's in a poker game. Now, the idea that they're catfishing people to sit next to Chauncey Billups and they're, cheating. I mean, okay, he's a low-class guy. If that's what's going on, fine. But I want to talk cheating just in general across the NBA, college basketball. We see more and more the fan duels and the, sports books and all the rest of that. This is going to change our sports in ways we don't even know.
I think that's already happened. I think we're trying to catch up at this point because, to pick up your phone and place bets, people have been doing that in certain states for about 6 or 7 years. The federal law passed that allowed that to start happening with the sports betting all around the country. And so we'll see where it goes. They need to crack down on it. I think that college basketball has asked their gambling partners, they call them now. Remember when it was such a terrible thing to ever bet on a game, and to ask them to take out the micro bets, which is this player will or won't make a free throw during the course of a game, the certain prop bets where he will or won't get more than 5 rebounds or play 10 minutes in a game, things like that. And I think if they clean all of those individual player bets up and make it just between what they call sides, which is who are you taking against the other against the point spread, or the total. How many points are we going to score between the two, and where are we going from there? If they limit college games in particular to sides and totals, I think that would help a lot. Will they get those gambling entities to go along with that? Highly doubtful. That would help in the NBA realm as well, as we've seen guys being suspended and kicked out of the league for life. One guy, as he was betting on himself through proxies. It's a slippery slope. There are things they can do. It's never going away completely.
Well, and again, you talk about college. Yes, I would love to do that. Kids can be so taken advantage of because of the money. I mean, they're always broke. But you look at folks like Chauncey Billups. He didn't need $50,000 to cheat some guy out of it. Who is the pitcher that on the third inning, the first pitch, I'll make sure it's in the ground? There's a guy who didn't need the money, but he just wanted to help his buddies out enough. If you don't get rid of, it's over the top. So not doing them for themselves, maybe helping their buddies make a few grand. That's the stuff that I think is going to crush sports.
Yeah, it could. We've had huge scandals. Ohtani was in that realm there. I mean, the biggest star on the planet, and that all quietly went away. I'm not convinced that Ohtani never knew anything about what was going on. That would be shocking that a guy could steal. Yeah. What did they wind up with a total $30 million on him or something? You're right. It's, I think, a big part of the problem. If you can limit it to sides and totals, instead of all these prop bets that they have, asking an athlete to throw a game so his team loses, he's not going to do that. Ask him to not have such a good game, or my calf is hurting, so I need to come out to make your under. They can do that because they know I have teammates that can pick it up. If you ask them to actually help to lose a game to win that bet, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's a much harder call to make. Sir, about a time. I love having you on the program. Thank you very much. How does someone get Todd and Friends or Todd and Souhan?
JWLM.com or anywhere you get your podcast.
Outstanding. I appreciate you, my friend, as always.
That's it.
It's Todd on the Al Travis Show. More right after this.